All right. My name's Mookie, or Mark if you prefer, from 88.5 FM here in Southern California. Afie Jurvanen is here. You came in to the station once, maybe even
Yes,
twice, but I do remember it was shortly after the Earth Tones record came out, and you performed two, maybe three songs. Yeah, I'm not expecting you to remember, but one
I
of those
remember.
do you? One of those songs is going to end up on our upcoming vinyl compilation, which we're very excited about.
Show
So
Me, or what song is it?
I
No
think it showed me
Expectations.
Naomi.
I thought Show Me Naomi was pretty damn funky last time I was there.
Oh, bro, you knocked it out of the park, and you brought a whole you brought a whole the whole band was there. Backup singers. It
Yeah,
was
well, that
fantastic.
was that was back, back in the, pre-COVID times when you could go on airplanes and go to radio stations and go to work and go to restaurants. Not anymore. We don't do that anymore.
We don't.
We do everything on Zoom now.
Yeah. So the man, I've been talking about this new record, Sad Hunk, for a long time. It seems like we've been playing the song "Own Alone" on the air for quite some time, and we've been getting some great
Awesome.
feedback. People are blowing us up in our inbox and social media because of the song. And as we record this Zoom session, it's just a couple of days before the release of the new record, Sad Hunk. I remember you were saying you enlisted a pretty high-powered sort of rhythm section entrenched in the R&B world for Earth Tones. Did you link up with anybody new or anybody else for
I
Sad
did.
Hunk?
Yeah, I did. I mean, the rhythm section I would say was there's guys that I played with for a long time. Don Kerr, who's a sort of a Canadian institution on the drums. He's played with everybody and their brother. And then Mike O'Brien, who I went to high school with, played the bass guitar. And him and I, I don't know if you have friends from when you were young, but it's like those types of friends to me are kind of like the best ones because they just like make fun of you the whole time. And Mike and I certainly have that relationship where there's just, you know what I mean? Like we're so past beyond worrying about what each other thinks. So
Yeah.
it's a nice to have a musical relationship that's like that, because that means he's willing to try anything. And if I don't like it, I'm just like, don't worry about it. So it's sort of it's sort of liberating as a performer to be in a position to play with people like that. But the main thing was just the guitar playing. Like Christine Bougie, who's played on a lot of my recordings at this point, she was there, and then this guy Sam Weber, who lives in L.A. He's a Canadian, but he lives in L.A. and he's younger. He's in his 20s, and I don't hold that against him.
Mm.
But man, is he ever talented? It's crazy good guitar player. So it was just a thrill to watch them sort of play with each other to the point where I just put my guitar down and I would show them the song and then for the most part I just sang. I didn't play all that much guitar on this record.
No kidding. That's
Yeah,
cool. You still have that pink Strat I saw in a promotional video that you shot.
it's right here.
No
Where is it?
kidding.
Yeah, it's right here.
That thing should be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, for sure. There it is. I was ripping on it this morning.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it's a good guitar.
Bahamasmusic.net is the website. People could get the CD, the vinyl, the Sad Hunk tour poster bundle, the Dad's Chores 2021 calendar. It's just
I got a copy of that over there too.
This is brilliant stuff, man. And of course, the Bahamas T-shirt, the Sad Hunk tour poster is unique because it's the 2020 poster, from what I understand, but a little bit of a modification, right?
Well, it's funny. Basically it's a Motley Crue tour. It's a Motley Crue tour from like 1987 or something.
Oh,
A lot of those venues don't even exist anymore. But we had this poster all designed for our tour, and then that tour got postponed to the point where we just canceled it. And I just thought, well, I just love this poster. What if we just like put the poster out still, So we put a bunch of tour dates on there from a wonderful tour that Motley Crue would have done in like 1987 or something.
right. At the peak of crewness.
At the peak of crewness. So it's like the Joe Louis Arena and the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto and like other places that don't exist. And you would be shocked at about how many people just didn't like. From what I hear, because I don't really interact with the Instagram, but my manager tells me that like the volume of angry emails or messages that he got from people who were upset that we weren't coming to their town on this fake tour that never was going to happen. Like people were so focused on that rather than actually looking at the,
Yeah.
the stuff that was printed on there. So I think the joke was lost on some people. But anyway, it's a beautiful poster, and I do hope people get a chance to see it.
It's another one of those unique items. See, I didn't read the fine print. I just saw a picture of
Yeah.
it online. So I didn't realize that it was venues that didn't have, don't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
that's
And
okay. I don't hold it against anyone, but it's yeah, it's just sort of fun. I sort of like always look for different things to make. I mean, especially now that the music is more or less it's not really a tangible thing for most people. It's just on your phone or whatever. And so it's nice to make posters and calendars and basically souvenirs. That's what I'm doing. I'm selling souvenirs for tour dates that aren't happening.
yeah, I feel like you're in a good position right now because it seems like the record was completed before COVID.
Yeah.
And some artists are actually struggling with, there's an Amazon truck out here.
It sounds like you ordered the calendar and the poster already, and it's just
I
backing
was
up to your
looking
front
at it
door.
on. I was looking at it. I was looking at it. I was a couple clicks away from that PayPal. Boom.
Same day delivery.
Does it come from Toronto? Where are you right now, by the way?
I live on the east coast of Canada. I live on the ocean in Nova Scotia, which is sort of the opposite end of the continent for you. But
Yeah, it is.
it's basically like if you got to Maine and kept going, you'd run into where I'm at.
It looks beautiful. I've seen some of your promo videos, which I do want to touch on in just a second here.
Sure.
But yeah, it seems like the record was completed before COVID, and a lot of artists are in a unique situation where they feel like the record that they just put out is going to be the long lost album because they can't promote like they normally would and go and visit
Sure.
radio and play shows. But you have done a stellar job at social media.
Right on.
Are you the video editor in the family?
No, 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 no. I mean, I don't know how much you followed my social media, but I put zero effort into social media up until about 6 months ago. Um, I always kind of preferred performing and touring, and I felt like I was good at that, and that always seemed like enough for me to make a connection with fans. And so our social media was basically boring. It was announcing a show or announcing a tour. It wasn't very engaging in any sort of personal way. But in some ways, this lockdown has sort of allowed me to develop some new skills, and I don't really, like I said, I don't really interact with people on there. But I have a video team here that we work with 2 or 3 days a week, and we just make content, and then they can edit it and sort of my manager and those guys can figure out the best way to put it out into the world and have people interact with it. But I'm enjoying. It's just like another way to be creative, basically. Like I can't go on tour and play shows, so I try and think of fun things to do that are just sort of based off of my life, or maybe they're an exaggerated version of my daily life. But the truth is, like, we started filming at my house, and like, there's no way to keep my kids out of it. There's no way to really keep, like, I can't really produce anything that's sort of like, uh, I don't want to say fake, but it's just like it's just easier to just find some segment of my life that's sort of
Yeah.
interesting and blow it up for a second. So whether that's just my dad workouts or making dinner for my family or just trying to play music at home, which frankly is pretty difficult. And like my kids are at school now, but when they're here, it's more or less impossible.
Yeah, I saw you on the piano in one of those promo videos the other
Yeah.
day, and you got your kids jumping on you 24/7. I feel like it humanizes you, and there is a sort of connection. I mean, I could relate on many ways to having
Yeah,
the
I
kids
think,
been running around.
I mean, just even all of our neighbors too. I mean, my wife is an artist. Like, we're kind of the hippie weirdos in our neighborhood. There's more professional people and doctors and people that have more sort of Monday to Friday type jobs. And I know that they all were struggling for sure with working from home and trying to, like you just said, your wife's carrying your baby out 2 seconds before we start this interview. It's like everyone's sort of into this new mode where you're navigating these funny little things that none of us could have ever thought about. And in some ways, I think being a musician like has prepared me for that to some degree, because I mean, the truth is, like, a lot of my songwriting in the last many years is I have to work with what I got. So if I got 20 minutes, then I'm going to do something with that 20 minutes. And it sort of forces you to be, um, more resourceful and more deliberate with what you're doing, and hopefully more productive.
I think you were saying the last time you came through, you adopted that sort of technique or approach before, like writing music, like wherever you
Yeah,
were. If you had, like, if you were in the car and something came to you, write it
yeah,
down or record it, real quick. So it seems like that had carried over
for
from,
sure, for
yeah,
sure.
from the
I
previous
I
record.
I I decided like last year because we had toured so much, and I've never ever come off the road. Like I've been touring, whether it's my music or someone else's music, like literally nonstop since well, my whole adult life. So I've never not had something on the calendar. And so last year was winding down, and we decided that September would be our last show, and I would not book anything. And I said, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make breakfast for my kids every day. I'm just going to you know, take a break. And it lasted 2 weeks. I was miserable. I was just no fun to be around. I was grumpy. And I called my manager and I said, okay, book the musicians, book the studio for December. I have like 4 or 5 songs now, and I'll have the rest of the material ready to go. So the truth, basically through that process, I just sort of was realizing that like I like being busy. I enjoy the work. I like what I do, and so I sort of function best if I have deadlines, if I have these projects set out in front of me, and I like the pressure. I like feeling like you know I like feeling that someone is expecting something from me, even if I have to sort of pretend that that's the case. And so this record was certainly made in that fashion. I sort of just thought, well, if I book the musicians and I book the studio, then I'll have to do
Wow.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonically, again, we've only really heard Own Alone on the air. Sonically, is the record sort of true to form as far as what we've heard so far? If you
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a diversity of songs on there for sure. There's a song on there called "Half Your Love," which is just me and an acoustic guitar. Which I all of my records I try to sort of have some songs that function like that, or that are just pure in that way, where there's no production at all. It's like classical music or bluegrass or something, where it's just a document of a performance. And yeah, so there's those kind of songs, and then there's like "Own Alone" to me is I guess more on the poppy side of what I would be doing. I dare I say funky. I've gotten into the sort of these really rhythmic type of guitar playing over the last few years, and a lot of that's just from playing live and getting a feel for what's making people move and what the band is just naturally sort of pushing towards. And so just trying to exaggerate some of those things. But I think so. I think these are some of the most to the point songs I've written. I mean, I always try to write like that, and I think I'm getting better just lyrically to express ideas with nothing in the way, with no metaphors, with no flowery language. Just get to the point, and hopefully the message is sincere and connects with people.
right, have you always had sort of an affinity for hip hop and R&B?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just talking to someone before this, and they asked me what my first, what was the first album that I bought with my own money, and
Oh
the answer
boy.
is "Raising Hell" by Run DMC. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason we might have talked about it last time when I was through. But part of the reason why I like that type of music is just in the lyrics, they're able to sing about the times that we're living in, modernity and technology, and you check in your email and all these things that are kind of hard to touch on as a singer songwriter. As soon as you have a guitar, those subjects seem to be somewhat taboo, or if you do approach them, sometimes it can rub people the wrong way, or
Mm.
it can seem not genuine or something. And so finding a way to write about those things, write about my life, um, that's it's challenging as a writer, and it's rewarding when it comes together. It's sort of Own Alone certainly has some of those references on there, and just sort of acknowledging like I'm not like an old man, I'm not living under a rock, but I'm also like not 19 years old. Like I'm literally in the middle, like in terms of my age, but also just in terms of my awe of so much of the things that are happening right now in terms of technology and the way young people are living life. And on the same time, I have a lot of respect and reverence for for the way that I grew up, which was pretty rural. I was, fishing and riding my bike and never mind cell phone. Like if
Yeah.
you rode your bike like across town and knocked on someone's door, and often they weren't home. And so, there's something about that. I don't want to romanticize it too much, but I definitely, we moved out here a few years ago, and it part of the reason was just to sort of slow down. The pace of life here is slower, and we can sort of create a life for us and for our kids that's a little bit removed from being on the cutting edge.
Yeah, we dream about moving somewhere where the pace of life is slower and affordable, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been Bahamas for about a decade now, if not 11 years, going back to the Pink Strat record, which people can get their hands on right now. I don't know if it's available on Bahamas.net. From what I
Oh, it's
understand, you tried to
available.
get .com, but it wasn't available.
That's right. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it, man. It's a website. Do people even go to websites anymore? I don't know. Bahamasmusic.net just sounds so cheesy to me.
It's great, and the merch is quite brilliant as well. Did Rolling Stone really include you in the vocal range thing that I saw online?
I don't think I'm contractually, obliged to answer that in any way.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, that's that we've been having lots of fun with sort of found things on the internet. So one of the guys that works with us probably put that together. That's my guess. I
No, yeah.
doubt. I would be flattered if Rolling Stone even knew who I was, let alone had an opinion about my vocal range. Let's put it that way.
So what's on the honeydew list for the rest of the day?
Well, I'm sort of, doing a bunch of these Zoom calls talking about how great I am and trying to get people excited for this record. But I'm going to roast a chicken later. And then I got another meeting. I'm sort of doing this series of recordings with musicians all over the world right now. It's pretty fun. It's nice to play music, frankly. I haven't played music with anybody in a long time, obviously. So I've been trying to do these sessions with just other musicians that I really like, and everybody's so hungry. Everyone's so keen to play, so that's been a fun and rewarding experience, and we'll start putting those out over the next little while once the record's out. But yeah, I don't know. I miss performing and I miss my band and crew, but I can tell you I'm certainly not bored. I seem to have a lot to do, and it's nice to wake up in the morning and feel like you have stuff to do. I hope everybody is that fortunate.
Yeah, I feel blessed because, we've adapted and, I've got like a home studio now, which doubles as my bedroom, and all of our DJs are doing their shows from home. It makes you think, why pay the overhead of office space if we could have been doing our job all along, like from home? But yeah, we're still getting paychecks and our bubble is small, but we're healthy. And could be worse, could be a lot worse, so it
it
seems
could
like
be a
you're,
lot worse. And
yeah.
and I think that people like I would encourage people to spend less time focusing on the negative. I know that sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but it really is. Like, it starts in the mind. Happiness, if there is a trick to being happy, it starts in the mind. It's about sort of taking ownership over that, and it's empowering to do that. And so I don't know, I think just being smart and safe and positive is the best place to start, no matter what you're planning on doing.
Right. And you drop little tidbits of wisdom and knowledge online in these videos. It's true, man. And I appreciate it very much. Real quick, Taco Tunes. That's a series,
Sure.
from what I understand. What is that?
I think there's one that's coming out in about an hour or
Oh,
something.
cool.
I mean, that's sort of something that we just stumbled onto as we were, like I said, these guys that I work with here, and we drive around filming stuff, and just in between, as we're moving to a different location, we're listening to tunes in the truck, and I'll start singing along, or I'd start talking about music and, music that I like. And they just started filming me. And, we just thought it was kind of interesting to some degree. And it's nice. And my managers figured out a way to sort of hook it up to the Spotify. So you can actually, like, people can discover some of this music that I'm talking about. They can easily swipe and get to the music in a quick way. So I don't know, there's kind of like lots of cool connections that you can make, and the truth is, like, it's for me, it's more interesting to talk about other people's music than it is about my own. You know, I'm flattered that you're interested and that people are digging what I'm doing, but there's all kinds of music that I love too, you know, and that I feel like it's an injustice that more people don't know about this one Vince Gill record or something. So
Yeah.
it's nice to just sort of be able to sort of touch back to those things. But yeah, I think we actually are going to, Taco Tunes next Tuesday is going to be live, and I'm going to review my own album. So you may want to
Wow.
tune in for that one.
That's cool. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, I'm going to be live, and I'm going to somehow review my own album. I have a feeling it's going to get a good score, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see. I have I've seen you talk about Kanye and Shelby Lynn, and those are great.
Yeah.
People can go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I believe, and check out all the Bahamas content that you've been making lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it really is all about the music. Do you feel like you have a future as a stand-up comedian or comedic actor, or it kind of
Oh,
stops
geez,
here?
man.
It stops here.
I don't know. I mean,
You got a knack
you
for
know,
it.
musicians, honestly, the musicians that I know, my friends, are some of the funniest people I've ever met, you know, and I don't know that I would put myself in that category, but I can tell you that musicians, myself included, spend a lot of time trying to crack each other up. And when we're on tour, especially, that's like, that's all we're doing all day is trying to make each other laugh, you know? And so, I don't know. I mean, certainly there's always been a little humor in my music. Even if you go back to the Pink Strat record, I had a song called Hockey Teeth, which was a love song. And if you didn't know me, you'd think it was a joke or something. But you know, I like the idea of being able to bring some of that into music, and not to make it a novelty, but just because it's part of who I am, you know? So I don't know. I'm enjoying making stuff. Like I said, I'm not sure how people are receiving it on the other end of it, but it sounds like people are kind of digging it. And it's nice to just sort of like use it as another vehicle to make art and make comedy and make music, and just realize that, yeah, the technology in some ways, I just feel like people haven't really even clued into how powerful it is, you know, because you could use it to post pictures of your avocado toast, or you could realize that it's basically we all have our own TV channel, and you could do literally anything you want with it. So for me, that, you know, like I said, I'm trying to use it to make music, and use it to make people laugh, and use it to sort of connect with people on a human level. And I'm only 45 seconds in front of you in terms of being a parent, but you know, it's fun to talk about that stuff too, because it's like, that's my life, that's your life, that's everyone's life, you know. It's there's so much humor just in the everyday, and so much tenderness and so much heartache just in every single day. So why not figure out a way to kind of put those things out there, and use them to connect with people.
Is how much is music part of just your daily living in the household? Are you streaming music? Are you playing vinyl in the household? Are you encouraging your kids to pick up an instrument yet, type of thing?
I mean, our house is just littered with instruments, you know. They're just around. I think if the kids sort of discover something through osmosis, that would be my kind of dream. That's kind of how I got into it. And if they show any interest in it, of course, I try and fan the flames, you know. But like I said, my wife's an artist, and our house is just filled with art and music, and food, and different languages, and you know, you try and expose them to all the best stuff, and hopefully they kind of find something that they gravitate towards too on their own, you know. But if they are interested in athletics, then I'll be in trouble, because I don't know a whole lot about throwing a baseball. But
I've seen you
yeah,
run upstairs pretty good.
well, yeah, got to try and move the body, you know, try and be active. But yeah, I mean, we listen to music a lot. I mean, I actually took my record player in yesterday to try and get it tuned up, but it's just, it's hard to fight with the ease of which you can just click a button and listen to any song, whether it's Kanye or Shelby Lynn or my music. You know, it's I get it, you know, I get it kind of why it's gone that way. It's just like, it's it's hard to think of where it will go from there. How could it possibly get any easier? You know, every song you want on your phone at all times, at
Yeah.
just a click away. I mean, it's it's a fantasy land, frankly, that we're living in, you know?
Yeah, it's it truly is crazy. I don't have a
Yeah.
smart speaker in my home quite yet, but
Yeah.
that's the next step, probably immediate step.
That's the next step.
Well, we can't wait to see what you come up with as far as like these streaming performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't done much of that yet, right? But it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I haven't really. I've seen a couple of them that my friends have done and other people have done, and I just I think there's something about the technology that's so limiting, and I tried to watch one of my favorite artists, Neil Young, was doing a live stream like pretty early on, and honestly, I probably watched about 2 minutes before I opened up another tab and like started shopping on Amazon for like some shoelaces or something, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt so guilty, and I was like, wow, this is one of my favorite artists, and I'm I've seen him play so many times, literally been moved to tears by his performances, and now there's no emotional connection. And so again, I'm sure there's people that are doing it at a really high level, but I haven't really found a way to get interested in performing just on the phone or whatever yet. So that's why I'm trying to produce this series of stuff that's
Right.
higher quality, higher fidelity, and hopefully can engage people a little bit more. Because I mean, my songs, as you know, they don't really. There's no real reliance on theatrics or pyrotechnics. It's like it's really about the music. As cheesy as it sounds, it's about the song. And if that's not getting across, then I fear that there's not much to grab onto. So I'm really trying to work hard to make sure that the stuff we put out there is high quality.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the stuff online. It's kind of a crapshoot as far as the sound quality.
Yeah, yeah, and I think people are so hungry that they're willing to engage with these things and sign up for virtual concerts and things like that. But at some point, if the quality isn't able to kind of stay there and keep people engaged, people just tune out pretty quickly. And I mean, like I said, I'll admit I was, you know, less than engaged.
Right. That's a shame.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
speaks to the technology that's available right in front of you. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, look, something shiny type of thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. We're getting into the business of live music again, believe it or not. We just announced a drive-in concert.
Cool.
So we'll see how that goes. It's with the band Dawes, who lives, around the corner from us.
Yeah. I know those
Um,
guys.
yeah, but just sort of educating people on how safe a drive-in concert is a little tough. And under normal circumstances, it would be an easy thing to sell out.
For sure.
Yeah, but so we're trying to sell Dawes tickets right now,
Yeah.
and
There's,
we'll
I sort
see
of
how
live
that
in this,
goes.
I live in this, like, we locked down pretty early up here in the Maritimes. And so you can't even, if you live in another part of Canada, you can't come here. It's like closed off to just the people that live here. It's
Wow.
kind of like if you took like Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts and just said, okay, if you don't live in one of these three states, you can't come here, and it was kind of harsh tokes at first, but people seem to embrace it and support it and get on board with it, and it was the thing that allowed us to kind of, like, there's no COVID here at all. It was like not a single case, and it's been that way for a while. So like my kids are back in school, and you could kind of fool yourself into things that are normal. And so I have heard that they're starting to do shows here, but I saw a picture, and like the chairs were all 10 feet apart, and then the band was behind like a plexiglass wall, and I thought, that looks horrible. That just doesn't look like a fun time for anyone. And
Yeah,
I thought it's going to take a while for us to,
yeah.
even here where it feels like we've kind of got ahead of it a little bit, it's going to take a lot of time to sort of figure out the logistics of how to for us to gather again, whether it's for music or for sports or for anything.
Yeah, I tell you,
Yeah.
you'd have to drag me out of my apartment kicking and screaming to even attend a drive-in concert at this point. Again, my bubble is
Yeah.
small, and I got a family to take care of, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. The way that it's set up is you buy a ticket for a parking space, and you could pack as many people as there are seat belts in the car, and you
Right.
could bring a lounge chair and sit next to your car. And a lot of people have
Right.
been treating these things as tailgates. And
Okay.
there's these apps that you could use now where food and bev or merch is delivered directly to your car. So
Wow.
yeah, it's incredible. And if it was easy, you'd see a lot more of them, but it's not easy. The
Yeah.
production costs are so high.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to the point where the dust settles and you can actually, perform a proper gig rather
Oh,
than
we
have
will. We
to.
will. We
Yeah.
will. I know we will, because that's the only thing we can do. You know what I mean? Like I do think that nobody wants to just sort of accept that this thing is going to get the better of us. I think humanity has faced a lot, and this is just where we're at now, and we will beat this thing. We will learn to live with it, if not beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Yeah.
kidding. Well, that's all I got for you. Again, bahamasmusic.net is the website, and the new record, Sad Hunk. We appreciate you so much. We just think you're so cool, man.
Well, I appreciate the support. I know you guys have been playing my tunes for a long time. It means a lot to me. It's like I feel like I'm pretty far away from literally everything right now, but it's so nice to hear that the music is kind of making its way out there and beyond.
Yeah, and you got some good people on your team working hard for you on your behalf. So you should know
I
that
appreciate them.
everybody's doing a great job.
Right on. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, you got it. Take care of the fam, and God willing, we'll be able to do this in person soon.
Yes, man.
All right, talk to you
Cheers.
soon.